Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Hellions, issue number 11. I absolutely love this cover. Is it? 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 Because we don't know. This comic book actually got me a little bit pissed. It's okay. Things got a lot better. Let's get talking about who made this comic book, and we'll get into all that good stuff. This issue is called Funny Games, Level 1. The Level 1 is actually perfect for this. We'll get there. Zeb Wells is the writer. The artist is Steven Segovia. David Curiel on colors, and VC is Ariana Maher doing the letters. The design is Tom Mueller. Segovia and Romulo Fierro Jr. doing the cover art. Jonathan Hickman is the head of X. So the very beginning of this comic book just completely defies reality because somehow Mastermind, mind you, Mastermind, ridiculously powerful mutant, unbelievably powerful mutant. The ability to make you see something that either is or isn't there, or make you ignore something that is clearly right in front of your face and about to blow your head off, cannot be underestimated. It's not that he warps reality, but you know, it's often said that reality is everybody's individual perception, right? So if your perception is altered, isn't your reality warped? Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. It's a really weird kind of power to just completely mess with your lobe, right? Anyway, Mastermind up against Mr. Sinister. Um this is going to be one of those typical things where we're like, dude, so suddenly Sinister is just an absolute idiot, right? He used to be this really powerful, scary guy and whatnot. Now he's just a big joke. Well, let's take it a step further. And this is not me necessarily being judgy because I don't know yet. But Mr. Sinister is poisoned and apparently killed by this tea that he drinks. Interesting. Um, you know, Mr. Sinister's main power is how he was messed up by Apocalypse, built and rebuilt multiple times at the very genetic level, so that while not nearly on the level of Apocalypse, because his level is just ridiculous, but on a ridiculously incredible level, Mr. Sinister has the ability to alter his genetic makeup, yes, at the molecular level, everything about his DNA included. So that means that he can actually say, oh, so this poison is attacking me in this way? Well, I'll just simply make those cells that are being attacked immune to such and such. I'll make it so that whatever this poison is, I'm not affected by poison. Uh, In fact, it's a weird kind of thing when you're more, and I understand that the gods, right, a little bit different there. I don't know, but like actual gods should be immune to poison and disease. It's one of those kind of things. It's like the different toxins that are in the air and the bacteria and whatnot. One of the main reasons why immortals are immortals, even just the long-lived ones are technically immortal, is because they do not die of natural causes. All diseases, all poisons are natural in some way, shape, or form or another, which is why it's always so funny whenever somebody says, I only eat natural foods. I'm like, really? Arsenic? So you'll eat arsenic. That's what you're saying? Because arsenic is completely natural. So, and by the way, bananas are not natural. Look up that one, kiddies. So anyway, it's one of those weird things where it's like, wow, so he was poisoned somehow and dies, like actually croaks. And it's funny the way he dies. And while someone may argue, yeah, but Mastermind probably foresaw that. So now we're saying that Mastermind has a secondary mutation of being smart? Because I don't see him as being a particularly smart guy in all of his history. I've never seen him. That was literally the one way that you could beat him is just by being smarter than him. And it's not that hard to do. You know what I'm saying? Nightcrawler isn't exactly the most scholarly person in the world, but he's beaten Mastermind before. So I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? And this is freaking Mr. Sinister here. Anyway. Oh, somebody's also going to say, didn't Hercules get killed by poison? Yeah, he's a demigod. That means his mama was actually human, so not a full god. I'm just going to put that out there. So anyway, we get Pete comes back. That's right, Pete, not Peter. We don't call him Peter anymore. He's Pete because he's growing up. That's a huge difference, as quoted by some of the other Marauders. And he's not particularly happy. So this is, Orphan-Maker, of course. And Pete isn't particularly happy with Nanny. You're not my nanny anymore. Like, he's cursing, he's calling her a big dummy and stuff like that. And she's got a new pet. She's got somebody new who she's nursing. Now, we saw some of this in the previous issue. And I can't wait to see this cultivated because holy crap. She can also switch back and forth between costumes. Okay, me likey lots. So it's a really great way to put people off. Mind you, we're dealing with a lot of illusion in this issue, right? Now, well, this is where it starts to get fun. And here, I'm going to say Grey Crow, of all people in here, I actually liked the least. I didn't like what Grey Crow was really doing here. Too much of it was a little bit, I don't know, like his face. Segovia is just an amazing artist, but in this particular case, Grey Crow, of all characters, I just didn't like his face in this. And you're going to be able to see his face as I also point this one thing out. Grey Crow, a Marauder, Wild Child, who basically just looks like a poor man's Sabretooth. He basically is a poor man's Sabretooth, right? And what do we get here? The Marauder picking up the Sabretooth wannabe by the throat. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was the same hand that that's Mr. Sinister picked Sabretooth up back in Mr. Sinister's first full appearance. When Sabretooth was like, oh yeah, all right, well, let's go. Rah! Jumped at him. And that's when we get to see the first real power that we get to see from Mr. Sinister is that he's ridiculously strong. He can just, boom, and he just grabbed Sabretooth and freaking killed him right there. And we're like, did that just happen? And then he shows up later, and it's when we start to learn that he's able to clone everybody. And it's like, well, what the frick's going on? Back when storytelling was amazing. Oh, don't worry. I'm not saying that this is slouching. This is a really great, I don't know if it was meant to be this way or not, but this is a really great homage of Grey Crow, Scalp Hunter, basically learning from his old master and his current master as well. Wow. That was, again, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that was really good. Seeing the interplay by some of the characters in here, really dug on this. Holy crap, this was really great. Some of the conversations weren't great, like Empath talking to Havoc. You could get the gist of what happened there, but if this was just in book form without this really, really excellent art, mind you, just ignore Grey Crow there because he doesn't look like Grey Crow. But everything else, like the positioning, the look that we're all doing. Look, I mean, me personally, whenever I imagine someone lifting weights, this is the angle I always see it at, right? I don't imagine it from any place else. So the imagery here really makes it feel like you're not necessarily in the room, but that you're witnessing all of this stuff happen nonetheless. So, because it's not at a human point of view, but everything that's important about this one is the looking down. Now, I wonder, is that meant to be? Because over here, this looks like we're at, regular view. The weightlifting scenes look like bird's eye view. I don't know if that's meant to be. I don't know if that's just coincidental or not, but I'm just saying, it's something I noticed. Plus, some of these other scenes also, when we start seeing, like over here, bird's eye, we're up a little bit higher, but not by much. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Bird's eye, we're looking down, and all of this stuff that's happening isn't actually happening. Or is it? I'm not entirely sure. And it started to get really confusing because this scene happens, and then we turn the page, and with the rest of this scene happen, they're laughing at Sinister. We're supposed to go save Sinister? Oh, you said one of our own? You're making me laugh. Like, it was like, wow, that's irreverent, and I love it. And Psylocke is going to Psylocke because that's who she is. But then over here, we get the exact opposite. Like, wait, what? So Sage actually manipulated everybody? Well, that doesn't make sense. Why the hell would Sage lie to the council and lie to Xavier? Or is she lying to them? Like, who exactly is she lying to? What the hell's going on? And then we realize that it gets even worse because so much of this, again, bird's eye view, this could be coincidental. It could just be this was the best way to do it. But if they did this on purpose where so much of what we're seeing is actually bird's eye view, that we're not on the same level, here it's actually lower, right? We're lower than them. So do we know what's going on? We don't. Because we think that they're in a car. They think they're in a car, but they're actually in a boat. Then they realize, no, we're actually in a plane. And are we actually in a plane? What the hell is going on? Why is she turned to stone? Like what, or salt? Maybe it's a pillar of salt. Biblical, yes. There's so much going on here, and Wingard, and I'm just saying, look, it really was a plane because they fell out of it. We're not going to go any more pages, but then you're like, well, it could have been a plane because, well, it looked like that's what would have happened, but that's not what would have happened. Oh, when you realize that nobody on your team is a flyer. Technically, I know that we saw Psylocke could fly if she does the right thing, whatever, but in this particular case, well, that didn't happen. How did it? There was a lot of really cool stuff in this comic book that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Um, the stuff that Jason Wingard says in regards to Sage and intelligent people, the things that he says to everybody here. I, if you haven't read the comic yet, shame on you. Um, it is just such an amazing to go back and just read that again. If anybody wants to know how to, how do I write an illusion scene? This is exactly how you write it. Because it's not just that the people involved in the comic book, the protagonists, it's so weird to say that in a Hellions comic book, right? It's not just that the protagonists were tricked, but Wells actually does a great job of convincing us that we don't know what we can and can't believe. I love when a writer is able to do that. Dude, I'm telling you, Hellions is just one of the absolute best comic books coming out now. Not just in the Dawn of X, whatever the hell, the X books, the Hickman X books, right? Can we say Hicksman? Hicksman. Let's call him Hicksman because there's an X in there, the Hicksman stuff. Anyway, now I got the Higgs boson stuck in my head. Damn it! The idea is that it's rare when you come across a storyteller who knows and loves these characters as much as Wells does, and is not only able to give great direction to, but the artist is able to receive great direction. I'm sure match up his own stuff with here. Like Segovia is just, could he be the perfect artist for this? I don't know. I'd still like them to work on Grey Crow. I can't help but to, like, I gotta focus on that because it was really glaring to me. But everything outside of that, damn it, dude. Everything in this book, it made me believe something and then tricked me. And then it made me believe something else. And I was like, oh, I feel duped. Well, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, never can't gonna shame me again. Like I really feel about as dumb as George Bush Jr. at this point. Like, wow, constantly getting screwed over. And then you go back to the cover. Is it him? 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 The perfect book. Damn close to it. Great Crow. All right, guys, enjoy the comic book, and I'll talk to you later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.